how somebody can level up in the brand identity and articulating value. I think this would be incredibly helpful.
Sure. So there's two parts to thinking about your branding. There's the development behind the scenes where you brainstorm with your team and try to figure out what to say. And then there's the actual implementation.
Right.
When it comes to the brainstorming, there are 4 classic mistakes advisors make, as I've learned in my 30 years of doing this kind of work. The first thing, and this is really important as you move upstream, is you have to make sure you're answering with clarity and consistency and conviction. Here's why you should hire me. Worry less about the cute and pithy way to describe what you do. Worry less about the cute and pithy way you describe your process. Summarize all that. Those are important ingredients, but summarize all that into why should I hire you? And in figuring out why I should hire you, don't overthink it. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. But then you want to package it. Duncan, I would submit that most advisors who are in that sweet spot that you and I work, right? They're navigating their own success. They're not broken. They're navigating their own success and trying to figure things out. They're probably saying many of the right things that allow them to move upstream, both in print, online, as well as verbally. It's just not packaged properly. So paying attention to packaging becomes really important. And then I think finally, from a development perspective, it's important not to operate in a vacuum. Right. So if you want to know why someone should hire you, take someone who's in segments, your new ideal, out for lunch, breakfast, coffee, dinner, drinks, whatever, and ask them why they hired you. I would argue that if the person's thoughtful, they can offer perspective that you didn't consider, or there's things that you dismissed because you think they're basic and understood, but they turned out to be really important. So that's development. And then from an implementation perspective, I think single story selling of the practice is really important. And forgive me for kind of jumping into role play mode, but if I'm in a team that's large enough to describe what that evolution you were describing, I've got multiple client facing people. Everyone should have the same story that they tell. So let's say you're the prospective client, it's Duncan. Before we discuss next steps, what I'd like to do is describe what our team at XYZ Wealth Management brings to the table for you and your family. And in doing so, answer the most important question of all, in summary, which is why should you hire us? Our experience tells us clients hire us for 3 reasons. Properly packaged, 3 is, you know that. It's an adult learning principle designed to aid memorization and repeatability, but also numerically sequenced. Mm-hmm. First this happens, then this happens, but also balance, right brain, left brain. Not too much trust, love, care, not too much experience, discipline, process. It's a balance of all that. So they should communicate process, capabilities, bedside manner in that order. And then the process, capabilities, bedside manner summarized to the why should be threaded through to any piece of marketing collateral and any piece of positioning online. And you got to pay attention to online behaviors right now. Video will certainly slow people down, but they don't want to read a lot. So when someone Googles the financial advisor today, typically it's about a minute they'll spend. And you want to pay attention to the 30 seconds they'll read before they go hunting for pictures and answer presumed questions that are on their minds. And you've heard these value ladder questions before. It's, hey, Duncan, I know why you're here. Let's get some of these questions out of the way. Here's who we are. Here's what we are. Here's what we do. Here's for whom we do it. Here's where we do business. Here's our why. And then finally, here's why you should hire us. And that should be a 30-second read. And but the language, I love your phrase. I've been using your phrase, professional contrast. Clarity of message is more important than creativity in our business. And I would argue that just the attempt to answer the why with clarity and conviction in and of itself provides a little bit of professional contrast. And then you can highlight in your messaging points of distinction for the team.
Right.
But it's about answering those presumed questions. And so that's where I would start. It's always how you talk about yourself. Think of higher criteria. Brand and reputation becomes really important. In that example you were sharing with the $12 million client, it's oftentimes when an advisor is fired, let's say the service is great. So the 7 of the 10 reasons advisors are fired for service related, it's off the table. It's usually a major financial milestone that sends that money in motion. And so as they're looking as they're conducting due diligence on you, can you paint that picture they can see themselves as a part of by answering the why?